Scotty.
Hey, Janine.
Hi. So I know we have some questions that we're going to go over. So just a little
Yeah.
bit about myself.
All right.
My name is Janine. I met Scotty through Harvard Business School online. Some of my hobbies include obviously coding. I love writing. I think Scotty can attest to the fact that I've published a book, so I'm into
Yeah.
poetry.
In
Some
fact,
of
I
my
usually can
missions.
just reach over and say, "Hey, here's Janine's book." But anyone who's paying attention sees my background change. I'm in Santa Barbara for a friend's wedding. I just
Right.
changed hotels, so I don't have Janine's book right next to me. So there's this pretend is right here.
Yes, but I'm doing a relaunch of that book, so it's actually going to happen this year. So yeah, that's something to look out for. But also one of my missions is creating a brand, and so part of it is the three I's is to inform, influence, and oh my gosh, I'm blanking out, but so essentially it's dealing with both data and it's the combining two of my passions together, right? It's data and writing. And so how I actually became interested in tech. So like I mentioned, me and Scotty met through Harvard Business School online, right? And so that was actually, when I look back on it, a very pivotal point of my life and in my career. So after I finished Harvard Business School online, it pivoted my career towards tech and towards data. So prior to, I was already doing like data reporting, right? So I was people were giving me the data and I was creating reports from them. But then once I finished HBS online, I switched to a new role and I was a pricing analyst. And so as a pricing analyst, that's when I got more in depth with data. And then that's when I started learning SQL and just really getting familiar with the back end side of things. And so that's when I really enjoyed it. And querying and trying to find data and trying to create stories from data was really what hooked me into the tech side. And that's when I realized I didn't, there was so much to data, so much to tech, right? To uncover. And so that's when I decided that I was actually going to take my career and start moving towards data science and into data analytics. And so I left my network pricing role and I joined another company that was more technical, and because I wanted to build up on my technical skills. And so what I came to find in this new role was, oh man, like there really is so much to it. And I did have a sense of imposter syndrome. And so I really just felt like I wasn't an expert as I thought I was. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up going to Berkeley for their Bootcamp analytics to really dive deeper into tech. So through their Bootcamp, I learned Python, we learned R, we learned how to build your own like website. And so we got deeper into like doing a lot of different projects, especially with machine learning, created like a GitHub page and really doing all of that. So yeah, I really feel like this shift, like this career shift was a good shift, right? So yeah, let's see. What was the next question?
Well, so I was actually going to say, it does sound like, the next thing I would have asked would be, when was there a conflict between your life and tech? And it sounds like you kind of had, not in a bad way, but you kind of had to choose between your life was head one direction, or maybe you go and then you went to the more technical company, or I guess first the role and then the company.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Yes, because I do feel like, okay, so this is just an experience what I've learned, right? So prior to that, I was on the business side, right? And then now I'm more on the technical IT side. And so a lot of people, and this is where I feel like this like life and tech kind of come into play, because when you're in companies, you're always like, oh, did you talk to the business side? Oh, did you talk to the tech side? Right. And these two always like clash because they don't know how to talk to each other. And so I feel like where I'm at, I'm this hybrid. I feel like I'm a hybrid of business and a hybrid of tech, because I know how each one talks, right? And so sometimes I do feel like, what do I want? And I struggle with that, because sometimes I'm like, where do I want to lean more towards, right? Like, do I want to lean more towards tech, or do I want to go more towards business? And so I feel like I am like constantly at this crossroads with myself, because, a part of me wants to kind of move up also with management, but then but moving up in management also means leaning more towards the business side, right? And I'm kind of like, but I love the tech side. And so like, this is where, like I do get that little bit of a conflict, but I always still end up gravitating towards more of like the data science side. And I've actually even talked to, like, I've expressed even my interest to my superiors to really let them know, like, my interest really is with tech. And so part of that is they've put me into a lot more projects. I've been into more like machine learning projects so they're putting me into more like front facing with the technical side with more data scientists. So it's just, I think it's a constant battle, probably a healthy battle, but that's kind of where I am at with that.
Yeah, because conflict isn't always bad. In your case, it's usually led to good things, and obviously you still have it every day with which side you want to be on. But because I kind of went the other direction. I was more technical, and I've gone more towards, all right, I kind of want to be more people oriented. I've always enjoyed that, and now it's like, maybe I should review some of my coding skills. I haven't done iOS in years. I'm just like, I'm so behind. But
and I think what I struggle with too is the thing with data and the thing with tech is that you have it's like it's an everyday thing, right? It's like you have to continuously do it, otherwise you're gonna lose it, right? And so that's a part of me is why I don't want to let go of the tech side, because I don't want to lose it. Because once you start kind of moving further away from it, you start like, and it's constantly changing, it's ever evolving, right? And so when you start moving away from it, you're kind of like you kind of get lost, right? You'll get lost in the details, and I think there is a beauty to the code. And so like a part of me like doesn't want to let go of that, I'm like, no, like I want to be like deep in the trenches with the code. So
because a lot of my experience now is web dev, building the websites for stuff like EU versus virus, and then this stuff. And so, back in for, collecting information that, when people submit information. So, it's just, it's weird, look back and suddenly be like, oh man, forgot that thing. So, but I guess, moving along, how do you see tech impacting the future of the world? Especially since we just had the pandemic, and technically in some places we still have the pandemic. These HBCUs, we're in the South. A lot of us, we have a lot of issues. Rural. It's hard to get out to to get to clinics and stuff. So what do you see?
Okay, honestly, and I saw this from like, this is what made me change the trajectory, because I knew that tech, big data is the future. Like it's the present and it's the future. Like if you're a company that's not, that isn't with data, or you're not data driven, you're ancient history, right? It's like, I really feel like the tech and everything that we're doing in the data science world, or everything that we're doing with data is so important. I just think it's part of our lives. Like there's no way that you can go away from it. You know what I mean? Like every like, right? Every scroll, every click, like anything you're doing, that is data. every transaction, that is data, right? You go to In-N-Out, you buy a hamburger, cheeseburger, right? Like wherever you go, it is data. And I think for people to not use data, for you to not like lean into the data, to not lean into the technology of what we have today is missed opportunity. Like you're leaving so much on the table because it's here. You know what I mean? Like it's so profound. And I just feel like yeah, you're like 10 steps behind if you're not even you're not here, you know?
Yeah. And speaking of In-N-Out and data, so for all of the people from the East Coast, you know about Cookout, $5 trade, you get a burger, 2 fries, you can pick or 2 sides, you can pick fries, quesadillas, corn dogs, hush puppies, then you get a shake. In-N-Out is California's version, and you should go for the animal style 4x4. If you really want 4 patties, you can do 2x2, which is what I usually do. I usually get my fries well done because I like them crispy. You have a lot of different choices. They have shakes and stuff. So, you know, obviously that's a point of contention between me and Janine. I'll probably delete this video, but you know, just wanted to point out for everyone when Janine mentions In-N-Out, that's what's going on. But even then that data, you know, how much food do you order? You know, restaurants want to know, are their shakes popular? Should we continue animal style or not? Should In-N-Out start expanding outside of California? Because now they're in Texas. Should Cookout expand to other parts of the US? They're still mostly East Coast, but Shake Shack is expanding across the entire US. So all these decisions, we just think of it as, I want the number 2, I want the number 5. But like Janine said, is all driven by data. And it's not necessarily a scary thing. It's kind of like, you know, how, you know, when I wake up, what do I do first? Well, the data in my life tells me I hate it if I don't brush my teeth. Other people might be like, oh, I want to eat first and brush my teeth. I'm like, no, I got to brush my teeth within the first 10 minutes. Then I'll wait another 15 before I eat my first thing. So data isn't scary. It's how you use it, but also if it's relevant to you or not. And so, you know, we talk about, you know, this first weekend, we want you to propose your abstracts. You know, what kind of questions do you want to ask? Same thing. Do you want to brush your teeth before you eat, or do you want to eat before you brush your teeth? Do you want In-N-Out or Cookout? So think of data like that. It's helping you make, I am definitely cutting this interview and deleting the video. But until I do that, and I guess I can't do that, but you know, we do know you have a bit of a time crunch, so I, you know, appreciate you coming on short notice. But what do you hope to see for your community?
I honestly, I think for our community, I probably a little bit more recognition, right? But no, I just think that they're, like I said, part of that is really just us being able to appreciate and being able to acknowledge for our community. And I really think that there are lots of things that we can contribute to our community with what we're doing. And I do see that now. Like, I mean, even just, you know, I think I guess as a sample set, even in my own company, right, a lot of it is really they're really leaning into the data, to the analytics, to really ask us to be part of the conversation, right? And so sometimes I think part of it too is they just ask us for things and be like, okay, just give it to us, right? But I think what I hope to see more from my community is us really being able to be part of the roundtable, to be able to tell the story of our data, right? Rather than just here's the info. I do want to see more of our community be able to advocate and tell the story with our data, right? So
yeah. And then you know, beyond that, you know some of the stuff I talked about, you know, helping students from these places and all that. You know, I think for you being, you know, we talked about this before, you're very proud of being Filipina. And I've talked about, once I get to a certain point, I think maybe we can work together and try to bring some of this to not just Manila and all the major cities, but to say, hey, maybe rural Philippines.
Right.
Because if I'm trying to do that in the US, then I just need to figure out the time zones. And so I guess, do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, so to be honest with you, even with our through the data analytics bootcamp, right? It was we worked in teams, and so one of the guys on our team was actually from the Philippines, and so I think part of the mission of being able to reach other places is first being able to pull in the different leaders of different areas, right? And then be able to harp in on their reach within that different community. And it's like a ripple effect, right? So you have to start with a few starters and we just keep going. But yeah, I think one thing that I did learn is that we're all over the place, right? And data knows no bounds, right? And the beautiful thing about data, right, is that the language is the same. It's a universal language, right? And so it's kind of like math. You go to one place, 1 + 1 will always be 2, right? So I think that's the beauty of it, of being, so you don't have to have that barrier of language because we're all speaking the same language through data.
Yeah. So before we go to the last question, any chance he was also Ilocano like you?
I am Ilocano.
Yeah.
Oh, was he Ilocano? No, he wasn't. He is from Manila. So
okay.
yeah. But he also has I think he had like a data tech business in the Philippines. And so yeah, so it was really fun. I think our project was machine learning predicting wine prices and scores.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Well, for
So
people like me, I'm like, I didn't even know you could score wine. I just figured it's like, do I want Sprite or Dr. Pepper or?
yeah, and the thing is, our data set came purely from the internet because it's stored somewhere, right? So part of it was like data scraping, like web scraping data from the internet, right? So in the same way, like even if you don't have data, like you can find data, right? And you can create data because, like I said, it's everywhere. It's part of our lives. So
Yeah. For all the participants, like I said before, we are preparing a lot of different data sets for you from our partners, from our sponsors. We're going to have a list of other places you can go and search. And then like Janine said, you can scrape the web and create your own data. So if you're not going to basketballreference.com, which I just realized, I've mentioned every video apparently. But you can go to any website and just get the data you want. And it just comes down to what questions do you want to answer. Go find the data that can help you answer it. And like Allison said in his video, just be careful with stuff like the Simpsons paradox. Be careful that you're running the data and doing the math correctly, the stats correctly. And obviously the mentors we have to help everyone with that. So Janine, last question, and then we can turn your way. For the participants out there, we've given them some hints here and there what to do to go to Cookout. What would you like for them to gain from this event?
Okay, so I had like kind of something similar with work, right? And this is what I truly appreciated. Number one is obviously, I hope you guys gain as much knowledge as you can. This is a great opportunity to learn. And by being a student and being just able to absorb everything that you can, I think that's great. There is always constantly so much to learn. I think number two, I hope that they understand the value of the team, or like to really because in order to succeed, you really need, you succeed as a team, right? And so like, that's one thing that I, in all of my experiences where we've done data challenges or even like group projects, is really everybody comes with different, they bring something different to the table, right? And I think if you're open-minded, I hope you gain like a whole new perspective of data from your teammates, and really just being able to be open and being learning and just be that sponge to learn.
All right. So there you go, everyone. Here's Janine. She is a data analyst 3, I think, right? Data analyst 3 at Health Scan. I'm probably getting the name wrong.
Scan Health Plan.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Sounds off. But yeah, so here's everything she's trying to tell y'all. And Janine, we really appreciate having you on such last minute. Definitely be glad to have you on. So yeah, everyone, check in the video description. You can follow Janine, LinkedIn, stuff like that. If you're interested in her also being a writer and all that, you can definitely connect with her. And just in general, if you have questions, just ask. Like Janine said, data is out there. You can go find it, use it however you want. We definitely encourage everyone to do that. And obviously go to Cookout, not In-N-Out. And well, I guess to be fair, so that Janine get a last word in about that.
No, you're fine. We're totally good.
Uh,
But
well,
I do have one thing to say. The one that I realized of what makes a good or a great analyst is knowing the right questions to ask.
Yeah, that's actually very important. So yeah, obviously if anyone's thinking, how do I ask the right question? Feel free, we're all on Discord, our social media and all that, reach out. We would love to help anyone. And it's not always easy to find the right question, but sometimes talking to us, maybe we can give you insight, or we help you realize something that maybe was in your mind, but you just couldn't quite, pick it out. So, just reach out. We'd love to help all of you.
Yay.
All
All right.
right.
Well, thanks for having me, Scotty.